Now listen, this scale is representative of something. We're gonna put emotions on one side, and we're gonna put logic on this side. This is the scale that we live on. Now, when something happens and it makes us emotional, whether it's a positive emotion or a negative emotion, doesn't matter, positive or negative, all right? It's gonna shift this scale in real time. So if this scale drops down, this is gonna be a little lower, because now we have emotions tied to this decision. And this side of the scale is typically gonna shift up a lot. Because now what happens? What does this scale show? This scale shows that the more emotional that we are, the less logical decision that we make. Welcome back to HVMU, High Value Man U. I'm your educator, Adam P. Please say the P, baby. It stands for professor. Adam Professor. Let's go with that, man. And when I'm in teaching mode, I got to put my glasses on. All right? So listen, if we're on this lesson, we want to dive into the emotional pillar. Remember, we got emotional, we got mental, we have the spiritual pillar, we have the physical, financial, and social pillar. Now, in the current day, this is what I want to focus on, because I feel like this is the one that has been glossed over so much by me, and we were taught to suppress this one, not to express this one. We always have to be strong and tough and never be vulnerable. So I'm starting with the emotional pillar. I want to dive into that one specifically, but remember, because as our value increases across all these pillars, we get better. We attract better opportunities to us. We attract more quality and quantity opportunities, but we got to start with the man himself. We got to go internal. We got to look deep, and we got to focus on the emotional part, right? So we're going to start with the emotional pillar. And remember what I taught you last time about the emotional pillar. High Value Man U. Let's erase this off the board. There was a framework for the emotional pillar. We're going to say emotional pillar. What we're going to call it. Just a quick recap. Emotional pillar. Now, there's a framework when it comes to the emotional pillar. What was it? Do you remember? We might not. All right, let's look at it. R, boom, U, L, E, R. This is how we're going to get better when it comes to emotional intelligence. Here's how we're going to increase our emotional intelligence. Here's how we become more valuable as men in this emotional pillar. Now listen, this controls a lot of things. When it comes to our emotions, I want y'all to remember this. More men lose opportunities from emotional instability than from lack of intelligence. Okay, I'll say it again. Men lose more opportunities from emotional instability than from lack of intelligence. So we got to get better here. We're losing opportunities every day if we cannot recognize, understand, label, express, and regulate our emotion. I kind of alluded to it already. So the R, we're going to start here today. The first R. We got a couple letters to go through, but I don't want to overwhelm you. I want to keep it simple. I want to keep it plain. All right? Start with the first R. So what is the first R? Let's talk about it. Let's erase. Let's erase. I just said it. Put it in the comments. What's the first R? Recognize. The first R. We got to recognize. I believe I spelled that right. We got to recognize, man. We got to recognize it, because here's the thing. Most men, when it comes down to it, we don't lose because of emotion. We lose because we don't notice it early enough. All right? An event happens. It triggers an emotion in us, and that emotion leads straight to a reaction. So let me show you something. Let's break it down. There's a trigger. So there's something that happens, some event that happens that we cannot control. All right, this is external. This is not something inside of us. This is something that may happen at work. This is something your old lady, which means your wife, your girlfriend can do. It's something your kids can do. It's something that you can see on the news, social media, whatever. An external event happens, and it triggers something inside of you. All right, that trigger then leads to what we call an emotion. All right, this is like a feeling. So something happens and it makes us feel some kind of way. Make me feel some type of way. Yeah, something happens and it makes me feel some type of way. Now, after the emotion, it leads to a what? It leads to a reaction. All right, it leads to a reaction, and that reaction leads to what? It leads to a consequence. All right, so an event happens. We feel some type of way about the event. It leads to a reaction. That means we do something. We act because of something that happened, and that leads to a consequence. The consequence could be negative or it could be positive. All right, we see a lot of examples in the news and media today. A lot of my NFL, NBA stars outside of the game they're playing, outside of the game of football, you'll see a news article come up that so-and-so got into a domestic violence dispute with his old lady, right? That's what you'll see. And now he is facing jail time, facing lost endorsements. He's losing time on the playing field, which means he's not making as much money because of this. Something happened. Don't know what happened, though. It led to an emotion. He felt some type of way about it. He reacted, right? He reacted. It led to a consequence. Now, most men, we live here. Most men live in a state of constant reaction. Everything else, we call it, these first two, autopilot. These first two, we don't even notice them. Something happens, and this causes we feel an emotion, but it automatically leads us to this. Here's the thing. We got to stop living there. We can't live on autopilot. If something has to happen, when this emotion happens, there's an activation that happens inside of us, and we got to understand, we got to recognize it. We got to notice it. If we don't notice it, guess what? There's no way we can control it at all. All right? Stay with me. We still here. There's some modern day triggers that happen all the time. And I'm going to ask the class to give me some modern day triggers as we go, and put them in the comments too. As you're going through this, as we talk about modern day triggers, if I miss one, put it in the comments. I'm going to get it all. I'm going to get a couple of them, though. A couple of the key ones that matter. Current day triggers. Help me out, class. What do you think? What are some triggers? Let's call this modern day triggers. You two, don't play with me either. Don't y'all say the word triggers. Don't be blocking the stuff. That's all. Talking about emotion. This is emotional event that happens. So we call emotional event. But what are some? You said work. Work can definitely be. It can set you off in modern day. What else we got? Since we talking about work, talking about money. Let's call it financial stress. How about that? What else? Marriage and relationships, right? Marriage / relationship. Anytime. Relationship tension. Woo. Tension. There you go. Again, they don't pay me to spell, y'all. Saying word. Any other triggers? What else can we see that triggers us? Social media. Hey, man, I heard that before. See something make you mad? Oh, man. That didn't stay on social media treating like that. We live in a world designed to trigger you. Like everything that's kind of in life is designed to trigger you. These are all events that happen that you can't control. Your boss say something to you at work, in a meeting. Rent due. Rent due, but I ain't got rent due money. Marriage, tension, or girlfriend, tension, whatever, tension. If you can't control this, stuff happens. Your wife does something. Your girlfriend does something. You can't control it, but it causes some kind of tension. Social media, you can't, you scrolling. You already in reactive mode. You just scrolling up and down. You can't control what somebody posts. You can't control what somebody say that disagrees with your opinion and your thoughts and your feelings. You can't control it at all. So we live in that world. So understand one thing. We gotta understand the triggers. We don't. We all out of whack. The importance of recognition, though. Recognition is awareness under stress. That's what it is. When stress and pressure is on you, it's for you to recognize that current moment and you live in this place. So that's a recognition. So recognition, we had to break it down. Recognition, recognition, kind of sound out from the top of my head. Recognition is awareness under stress. You know, there's recognition. Define it. That's what it is. Recognition is awareness under stress. So let's look at something, because recognizing negative triggers and, well, when things happen, events happen, they lead to an emotion, and those, even though you were emotional, you still don't make the best decisions when you're emotional. Let's explain it. Let's draw a scale. Now, this scale gonna be a rickety scale, but bear with me. I'm gonna do this right here, like a tree maybe. Then I'm gonna go up here. I'm gonna draw this. Let's just act like this. We're gonna do this. This is scale. They're gonna lead down to something right here. Like a big old weight right here. The weight. Put 5 lbs in there. So you know that's a weight, right? Other side, we're gonna do this. Same thing. Drop it down. Boom. 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 Other 5 lbs. Alright, so this is the scale. Put scales there, there's a scale. This is an actual scale. Alright, this is a scale. Now listen, this scale is representative of something. We're gonna put emotions on one side, and we're gonna put logic on this side. Alright, emotion and logic. This is the scale that we live on. Now, when something happens and it makes us emotional, whether it's a positive emotion or a negative emotion, doesn't matter, positive or negative, all right, it's going to shift this scale in real time. So if this scale drops down, let's just erase this off of here, because it's even right now, but this is what happens most times. This is going to drop down. This is going to be a little lower, because now we have emotions tied to this decision, right? Now we have emotions in here. And this side of the scale is typically going to shift up a lot. All right, it's going to shift up. Because now what happens? What this scale shows is a rickety scale, but it's this scale nonetheless. This scale shows that when we're weighted down with emotion, whether happy, sad, mad, frustrated, depressed, whatever emotion you want to tie to it, you'll make a less logical decision. Okay, if something happens that make you really excited, you should make an immediate decision, because you're making a decision based on that current feeling of excitement. If something makes you really sad, you should make a decision in that moment, because you're gonna make a less logical decision in making that decision. That's just how it goes. That's why recognition is important. You feel an event happens, an emotion comes up. We take time to recognize that emotion first before making any decision. All right? Did that kind of make sense? The emotional trigger happens. The emotional trigger happens. Boom. It leads to an internal activation. So something happens and it activates something inside of us, and that internal activation leads to a behavior. Something that you do. Okay, I feel it, I'm activated, I behave. I go away. Now, listen, most men only notice the behavior, but we don't notice the internal activation, right? We notice the behavior, but we forget the activation. So we forget what caused it, how it happened. All we do is this. Yeah, I get mad when somebody do X, Y, and Z. We go straight here in terms of what we do. All right? Now, here we go, though. So when it comes to recognition, what does it actually mean? So we got 3 questions. What does it actually mean? Number 1, it's what am I feeling? Boom. Number 2, where do I feel it? All right, what am I feeling? Where do I feel it? And number 3, last question, when it comes to recognition, what triggered it? All right, what am I feeling? Where do I feel it? And what triggered it? So what set it off? All 3 of those are important. And this is going to be the core of recognition. All right, this is how we start to recognize, start to understand, start to feel every single part of it. Now let's just do the first one. What am I feeling? Thank God for the melanin skin. All right. when it come to these now, what am I feeling? Most men typically, when you ask them, how you feeling? How you feeling? We know about 4 words. We say about 4 words. The ones we actually know. We're gonna say number 1. Number 1 is easy. Mad. I'm mad. What do we say? I'm straight. Or I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm straight. All right. What do we know? We'll say, I think we know we're stressed. I think we can feel when we're stressed. I'm stressed. As you're older, when you get to your 30s, you understand what you can say the word stress. You might not say in your 20s, but you definitely say in your 30s. And last one we'll say, I think we know tired too. I'm tired. I'm tired. Now, these are for, words get tied to emotions, but this is called, in my opinion, emotional laziness. We don't want to go deep. We don't want to have a long conversation about it because as men, not that we were taught to suppress it, but we were taught to be strong and be courageous. So to get all deep and vulnerable, to go into why am I mad, or to dive into why am I stressed, or why do I feel tired, like that's a whole conversation. If I'm already tired, me talking to you about it made me even more tired. So I just rather not talk about it at all. However, again, this is emotional. There's way more words to use, way more stuff to recognize. Again, I say emotional laziness because that's just what it is when it comes down to it. Now, and here's the example. Like, in terms of what am I feeling? Let's say you get a text. You're in a group chat. And somebody is directly targeting you in this group chat. They say something to you, they criticizing what you're doing, or whatever the case may be. Now, in group chat, it's about 6, 7 people in a group chat most time. And you got this one person criticizing you. Immediately, if you have low recognition and don't understand what you're feeling in that moment, what's the immediate thing that we do? Immediately, we fire back. Before we get the Twitter fans get to typing. They get to pop. Somebody leave a comment on your video. It's like, boy, you really ain't that. You be, oh, what you said, boy? You be ready to go off or like they say something about your mama. Like immediately you fire back. Now, when you have high recognition, here's what it comes down to. High recognition means I see that event just happened. Somebody left that negative comment on my video, or somebody, criticized me in this group chat. High recognition means, oh man, right now, I feel this heat in my chest right now. Or I feel my jaws clenching up. Like I really see my hand, I feel my hands getting tight. All right, so that's a feeling. So some people say, when they say, all I saw was red, like something happened, they got angry, they say, all I saw was red. It's not that all they saw was red. That's not how the eyes work. It's not where you just saw all red across the blood everywhere. That's not what they mean. What they really mean is, I felt this intense heat and pressure shoot through my entire body. And before I had time to think about it and make a logical decision, I was on it. I was responding, I was reacting. So that's what it means to say all I saw was red. No, what happened is you have low recognition. You didn't take time to recognize it, what you were actually feeling. If you just sit back and say, boy, if they comment on my video, I feel heat in my chest right now. Recognize it, sit with that. So that's the first part of recognizing is, what am I feeling? Like really describing, like right now, what am I feeling? Like I feel chills across my body. What do you feel? All right, what am I feeling? Next question. Number 2 was, where am I feeling it? What am I feeling? And number 2 is, where do I feel it? Let's draw a stick figure. The best looking stick figure I can draw. I'm gonna draw a good little head. You're gonna have some arms, legs. I could do a better stick figure now. Let me give him something. Let me try this. Let me do something. I'm gonna give him a nice little head. Right here, right there. Boom. Boom. Have a little neck. He has an arm around here. Oh, that's a bad drawing. How you look? Let's give him a little bit of head, bigger head. I look a little better. We're gonna go with that drawing right here. Look, this is my stick figure. All right. So, where am I feeling it at? That's what I want you to understand. You got chest. All right. Point to the chest. You got hand. Clench if you get mad, you clench your fist up. Like something happened to you emotionally, and your hands get tight. Say hands. But what about here? Jaw. Something happened to you, and you clench your jaws up. Your jaws get tight. You get mad, hands, jaws, fists, everything got to clench up. Stomach. They go to the stomach. Somebody embarrass you, you feel shame, you feel like a pit drops in your stomach because something happened. Like that's a feeling that you recognize. So where am I feeling it at? That's important to understand. What am I feeling? Where am I feeling at? Because here's the thing. Your body knows before your mind does when it comes to emotions. So when emotion happens, your body knows before your mind does. That's why we say all I saw was red. What happened is your body knew something was happening. Your fist clenched up, like your chest got tight, and you just reacted immediately because you didn't give your brain time to process it. Because the frontal lobe of your brain is where you make logical decisions come from. It's the logical thinking part of your brain. You didn't give your brain time to process the trigger, and that's what happened. We typically explode. We don't have time to process it. We explode all over the place. All right? Because emotions, just remember this, emotions show up physically first. All right? That's when we're nervous about something or we're anxious. We get, the palms are sweaty, right? You feel this tightness around your chest. Maybe your breathing changes. Another example, real time for me, I saw a spider the other day. When I saw that spider, immediately what I did was, before I even thought, it could have been a fake spider. I didn't know if it was real or fake. It looked like a spider. It was a big looking spider. So immediately, chest get tight. I'm like, oh no. I'm just like frozen. Before my brain can even process, is this spider real or fake? Doesn't matter. Immediately, I jump back, chest clench up, heart start beating like, man, what is that? Immediately, because emotions show up physically first. Okay, but you got to give your brain time to process and catch up with it because your brain regulates everything you do, but you got to give it time to think. We're all smart creatures and we got to give it time to think. So when we're angry, our jaws get tight. Anxiety, that chest pressure hit. Your shame, whatever, my pit falls to the bottom of my stomach, all that happens. So understanding where you feel it at is key. So what am I feeling? Where do I feel it at? What's the last one? You gotta know the last one. Last one is important because of recognition. Number 3. The 3. What triggered it? Bad tea. That's okay. Oh, I missed a whole tea on there. Oh man. What triggered it? And that's the big piece, right? What actually triggered it? It's number 3, but we gotta know what triggered it. Because most times this is how we live. The event equals the emotion. That's what we believe. We believe that when this event happens, it's gonna trigger this emotion. If you ask somebody, hey man, what happened if, fella, let's get deep, fella. Let's say, boy, if your girl cheated on you, what you would do? Immediately, like you think about that event and you think about the emotion that you would feel automatically. It's like autopilot. If this happens, it's gonna happen. Or you with that guy about a new shoe, new J's that came out, and Jordan 5, what grade 5s came out? Or you go to the club, somebody step in your shoe, what gonna happen? Oh, it's over with. I'm sending it out. They already correlate this event to this emotion. Now this is not true though. Like when it comes to recognition, this ain't true. Separating these two is key when it comes to recognizing anything we got going on in life. All right, you can circle this, you can put a box around it, you can do whatever, but the event does not equal the emotion. All right, just because something happened, it's all about how you interpret what happened and the story you assign to it. That's all it's about when it comes to the event. It happens. Let's think about it. Let's process it. What story are we assigning to this event? For example, your wife says, you've been distant lately. You come home from work after work about 6 hours, 8 hours a day. You come home and you say, you've been distant. And immediately if you say you've been distant, what happens most times is if your meaning to that means she think I'm failing. Or she think I ain't, she think I don't love her as much. Immediately you get defensive. That's what happened. Hey man, you seem like you've been kind of distant lately. You be like, what? We spend all this time together. We sit up, we watch Netflix together, we chilling together. What are you talking about? How am I distant? I'm in the same house with you. What you talking about? Makes no sense at all. Immediately you get defensive. That event happens, which is a real event that happens. It leads to an immediate emotion. Defensive. We didn't take time to recognize. Now, when we take time to recognize, she asked that question. Somebody who has high recognition is going to ask a question back. Instead of getting defensive, you're going to say, well, what do you mean? Can you clarify? Like, I think I'm in the house. What do you actually mean specifically? And she'll say, maybe, hey, listen, we used to talk every night. You got off work for like an hour. Stop doing that now. That lack of communication has felt like you've been distant. Oh, wow. You think about it, like, you know what? We have not been talking. Right? So immediately, when it comes to emotional standpoint, we get better because the emotion, the event does not trigger the emotion and we don't get defensive. All right. So here it comes. This is advanced and we'll dive into it later. We won't do it today. This is, again, let's keep it high level for now. Like recognition means separating the event from the interpretation of the event. Okay. Again, we won't get too deep on that now, but when something happens, we have to investigate what's happening in real time. We have to ask certain questions, peel back some layers before we just jump to a conclusion. All right, that's big and that's key. Now, here's the thing. Let's get back to it. Because again, I want to give you some practical stuff. Practicality is key when we teaching people, especially teaching me. Being as practical as possible. Now, I know when it comes to this emotional stuff, you may feel like it don't matter, but I'm going to say it again. Men lose more opportunities due to emotional instability than from lack of intelligence. So all you want to do is learn about how to make money or learn how to get your body right or learn how to, attract the right. That's all cool and dandy, sir. You can learn how to make money. You can learn certain skills, but if you don't learn how to recognize your emotions, what you're feeling in real time, you will gain opportunity, but you'll lose them just as fast. That's what it comes down to, just to keep it plain and simple. Now listen to this. Practical stuff. How do we solve this situation? How do we get better in this area? When we're feeling it, when an event happens, I feel an emotion, I react. How do I, solve this problem? I'm going to do this. Make it real simple, real plain. Emotion on this side of the board. And I'm going to draw a long line from here to here. And I'm going to put reaction. Boom, boom. Emotion, reaction. In the middle of this, I'm going to do this symbol right here. Give me a hard symbol. Not here, shoot too hard. Triangle. See if you can get the symbol. Boom, boom, boom. What symbol is that? Pause button. Hey, the pause button. Yes. All right, so this recognition, it is why it gives you the pause. When we recognize the emotion, we take a pause. The longer we can pause between this and this, the more control we have. Men love to be in control. The one reason we don't like talking about emotions, because when we talk about them, we don't feel like we're in control of them. So we dismiss them. We suppress them because we feel like they control us sometimes, which sometimes they do, if you don't understand the power of the pause. The pause equals power. By the simplest plan I can make it. The pause is this button here, this play pause button, pause button, a little better pause button, but this pause button, all right, gives us time for this, which incorporates my next thing. So going forward, what I recommend, and it's been proven by scientists to work, is the 90-second rule. Like literally, when you pause, I need you to take 90 seconds. The next time an event happens that triggers an emotion inside of you, what I want you to do as your professor, as your teacher, is I want you to pause. I want you to pause for 90 seconds and notice what's happening. I want you to notice, what am I feeling? I want you to notice, where am I feeling it at? And I want you to notice what actually triggered this thing to happen. But if there is no pause, there is no power. They're equivalent. If you don't pause, you lack power. And here's the thing. This is a long gap. But what I realized is emotion. Let's do a shorter little line. Reaction. It's that line a little bit. You took no time to pause. Something happened, you reacted. Something happened, you reacted. Something happened, you reacted. You got a text from your girl that you didn't like, you reacted. Your boss sent you a letter, an email at work, you reacted. Whatever, something happened now. Let me give y'all a real life situation, real life scenario. This happened to me. Let me give you two of them. Back in the day, when I was in corporate America, I had a manager, and he would always criticize what I was doing. But I thought I was high. I thought I was doing good. Like I thought I was, the next best thing since sliced bread, as they say. I'm killing it, top rep in the store. I'm doing my thing, making the most money everybody in the store. I'm killing it. But he always seemed to find something to criticize me about. And when he would criticize me, I wouldn't even take time to think about it. I would just react. I wouldn't respond. I would react. Because when you take a pause, then you formulate an articulate response. You don't just react to what's happening. I would always react. And every time I reacted, he would almost got to the point he was scared to give me feedback because of how I reacted. Yeah, I'm the star player on the team, but I can't coach the star player because he reacts when I give him feedback, when I criticize him. Okay? That's an example. That's like a 10-year-old example. Let me bring it more recent day. More recent day is I'm an independent contractor, sales consultant, help people, grow their business through selling. That's what I do in my, my full time. Anyway, I get a message from the manager on that team and say, boy, the way I read the message was, you won't be receiving the bonus that you earned. It was like a $7K bonus, number one. So it was a little chunk of change. It wasn't a little few. It was a little chunk of change. I immediately read that message. And what am I feeling? I immediately felt my fist clench up. My jaw got tight, which means I knew I was getting angry. I knew in that moment, I got angry. And I almost got on that keyboard and started typing back in that Slack channel. Like, I could have said I'm about to say all kind of words. I was about to go, in my mind I ain't know what I was about to say. I was about to start typing. What I did was, I took about 90 seconds. I got up from the counter. I walked to the backyard. I looked out the window of the backyard. I seen the man cutting the grass. I'm looking at him. I'm reading the back of his shirt. All this stuff just to take a 90-second pause before the reaction. Long story short, I go back to the computer. I ask a clarifying question. Instead of just reacting, I ask a question. I say, hey, well, listen, just to make sure we're on the same page, can you clarify exactly what you mean by this? Are you saying this, or are you saying something else? He said, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Just based on what happened last month, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I'm still getting the bonus, right? But I was about to react as if I was not about to get the bonus and this nut up. So bringing it back home to real time, when an event happens that you can't control, you're going to feel an emotion. You can't control how you feel. You're just going to feel that way. Be very clear, but you can't control how you react. You can't control how you respond. Because here's the thing. Most men live in reaction. We don't live in response world. All we do is react. But when you take a 90-second break, this doesn't come to reaction anymore. You can cross that out. Now it is, we use a different color. No, I'm using the same color. Now we're not reacting, we are responding. All right? We go from emotion to reaction to emotion, pause. Now we're responding. Now it's articulate. Now it's effective when we communicate. Now we're not losing trust with people. All right? People don't want to be like scared to be around you, scared to say stuff around you. They don't trust how you're going to take it. They don't have confidence you'll take it well. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to shut down, not tell you anything. Okay? That's how that works. You guys can hang it in there, and I love it. I want to talk about something really quick. I'll give you a couple scenarios and we'll end it out. It's different things that can cause you to act this way. Let's be very clear. A lot of different stuff. That was one example from my personal life, but there's examples in your life that's going to happen. Like, somebody challenges you in a meeting. Let's say you're in a business meeting, right? You're successful, you're doing good, and you're in a business meeting, and somebody challenges your idea. You say, oh, I don't think that's going to work, or whatever. When you have low recognition, it escalates. What? Man, I know what I'm talking about. Right, now we argue. Now it's an argument. It's supposed to be an effective conversation, now we're arguing. When you have high recognition, you feel immediately, I feel disrespected right now. And you can say that inside you, I feel disrespected. Now, what I decide to do after that is a response or reaction. Okay, that's one example. Another example is you married, or you got your girl, and she might say something like, "Hey, I wish we had the money to just take a vacation right now, go to the Caribbean or something." When you have low recognition, you may immediately get defensive. I'm doing the best I can. We can't do all that. Stay on social media. That's all you use social media, so that's all you think about. So immediately you get defensive. One more example I want to give you is, we call it the trust bank. Because every time, let me do this. I'm going to give you an example. Do a big rectangle. Big old rectangle. See? We're going to call this is a bank. This is a bank, y'all. Big little banks are huge. And we're going to say in this bank, they got something called the trust account. Right? In this bank, we got a trust account. In this trust account, we got two sides of the trust account. We have deposits and we have withdrawals. All right, we got deposits and we got withdrawals. So in this game of life that we're playing, this emotional game we play in life, is when we're dealing with relationships, people have these trust accounts like with us. And we can make deposits into that trust account by doing certain things. Let's say we call it active listening. Okay? Active listen. I might shorten some of these words. So listening without interrupting. So your girl is talking to you and you let her get her thoughts out before you say words. Okay? That's that. Another thing is you can add deposit by being calm under pressure. Okay? Being calm under pressure. Something happens financially in your life, your world is crashing down, your wife looking at you like, what we gonna do, baby? And you like, we straight, baby, we're gonna be fine. Baby, we good. Trusting God, we straight. We're gonna be good. Okay? That's a deposit. That's trust getting added to on the deposit side of it. Another thing is, we own mistakes. Okay? We do something wrong that hurts somebody, offends your wife. Instead of like playing the blame game, we own it. We say, you know what, baby, I understand that. That was on me. I take full accountability. That's on me. I own that, right? Those are deposits into the trust account. Now, we have withdrawals too, though. What are withdrawals? Emotional outburst. Something happened and we lash out. All right? We come home, something triggers us, the dish is dirty, you know, and we had a hard day at work and we just go off the handles, screaming at everybody, cussing, fussing, all that stuff. That is a withdrawal. That's taking money out. All right? Another one is defensiveness. Defensiveness. Something happened, we get defensive. Instead of owning our mistakes, we get defensive. And we go to blame it. Like, nah, it ain't me. Check yourself. You ain't bringing no money to the house. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't working. What you talking about? You can't tell me what to do. Blah, 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 blah. I'm doing everything right. We get defensive. All right? Another one, emotional outbursts, getting defensive, shutting down. They call it shutting down. Shutting down. Your girl trying to have a simple conversation with you, but she can't get this conversation because she's afraid that she talks to you, you shut down. And you just won't talk about nothing. You know, whatever. Okay, do what you want to do. Okay. All right. You got it. And you walk off. She can't have a conversation with you because that's happening all the time. So listen, one thing to learn is it takes a while to build up trust. It takes a long time. This stuff takes time. Like, it takes time to make these deposits. But withdrawals, they'll go out super fast. I mean, 10x speed. Put 10x over here. It only takes a couple of these to happen in a business meeting or in a relationship to where you're no longer a part of that business, or you're no longer in a relationship with that person, or she no longer trust you anymore. From a business standpoint, you're in a business meeting, you know, they critiquing you, and you outburst emotionally. You go to yelling and screaming and throwing papers around and say, oh my God, we can't give him any feedback, so we're not going to talk to him anymore. And if I can't talk to him, I don't want him in my business. Done. Immediately, X, and you're out. In a relationship, you know, she may stay with you, right? Because y'all done soul tied together and did all that stuff together. She may be like in the house physically present, but she has shut down so much. She has no more trust. And now where we at? Now we in therapy. Now we got to go to therapy because she won't open up to you anymore. She's afraid of how you react emotionally, or that you're going to shut down, won't talk anymore. So now she's shut down. Now we have to go to a third party to mediate our conversations to help us get this trust account built back up. That's why people go to therapy. That's why, because the communication is broken down on either side. There's no more trust, and we get defensive. We don't own mistakes. So now we got to go to therapy. So now having to go to therapy, it's costing you time. It's costing you work, your relationship, and now it's costing you money because therapists ain't cheap. You got to pay them. That shit are good ones. Like, you got to do that. So that's all by not investing into the trust account, by not understanding how to recognize your emotions and putting a pause between like what happens in the emotion and the actual reaction or response that you do. Now we all over here. And now what happens when this don't work? What happens? Oh, a big money spender. Because 50% of relationships end in divorce. Let's circle that. What's big? 50% of people who say, I love you, I want to get married to you, end up here. Because this happens, like the trust account is growing slowly. It's growing slower than this is depleting out. Because you can outburst emotionally, but you can listen the next day, and they don't care about what happened the next day. They still stuck on this emotional outburst that you had, that you ruined the family, ruined the family dinner, and you disrupted Christmas and not the Christmas, all that. They remember that stuff. That's what they remember. So this is gonna keep depleting faster. We go to therapy. Therapy may help a little bit, but I still gotta go home and live with you. You still don't really trust me for real because the therapist ain't here no more. The mediator is gone. So now we gotta go to a big mediator. They'll go to divorce. Now divorces are very expensive. You took all this time making this money, building up all this wealth, right, having all this success, and now you gotta lose half of it because we couldn't recognize our emotions. People say it's because of financial stress, financial pressure. While most marriages end in financial stress or cheating, they say infidelity and financial pressure. But it comes back to something more internal than that. It comes back to the emotional aspect of stuff. It ain't about the money. It's about when the financial stress came upon us, we didn't handle it correctly. We didn't take time to recognize how we were feeling in that moment. We didn't pause. We didn't, formulate thoughtful, articulate responses to the situation. We weren't calm under pressure. Like, all that stuff led to this. All right? So I'm here to help men become better men, but I truly believe you say the man, you will say the house. That's what High Value Man University is all about. If I can get real with you. That's all it's about. If we can become better men, we're better leaders in our house. We're better leaders at work. We're better leaders in the community, all across the board, man. That's the formula, man. So we're going to stop here. It was enough lesson for today. We're gonna end here. Just key aspects. Remember this. Key takeaways. Number one, high value men notice like what they're feeling. Like they take time to notice it. All right. Number two is when it comes to recognition, ask yourself 3 questions. What am I feeling? Where am I feeling it? And what triggered it? Okay. Third thing I want you to remember. Number 3, the power of the pause. The pause equals power. The 90-second rule. When an event happens, your emotions are set off. Let's take 90 seconds before we respond. Okay? Let's take 90 seconds before we react. But if we take 90 seconds, it's no longer a reaction. Now it's a response. I thought about it. The logical part of my brain, it had time to kick in. So now when I respond, it's what I wanted to actually say. And I thought about that. And understand the loop. An event sets off a trigger. And that trigger, the event is a trigger. Boom, goes to the emotion. Boom, motion reaction consequence. All right. That's the message, man. High value man, you. Y'all here. Let's become better men.